right, so let's keep up with the stories while I put on a little bit of makeup. So the first person says to keep yourself from being conjured, you sprinkle a little bit of chamber lye along with urine around your door. And this is said to keep you from having um, anyone conjure you. You add a little salt, and that way they can't fix you or anything like that. Another one says, obviously, as we all know, wear a silver dime with a hole punched in it around your ankle. And this woman says that she's been doing that for 18 years and she's never been fixed. Now, another story, and these are all out of Alabama, by the way, I completely forgot to say that. Lady said that she had won some money sometime, and this old conjure man told her that she needed to give it to him. And when she said no, he put something in her coffee. All of a sudden, she started cussing up a storm. She does say that she was wicked then, so she didn't think anything of it. But she started cussing up a storm. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She got no rest, and she felt like a witch was riding her. That's when her nephew told her that somebody had fixed her. Now, luckily for her, her father-in-law was also a conjurer, and he was able to take it right off. He said he made her a tea with some rattlesnake master. What else? And then she drank that and swallowed a silver dime, and it took the conjure right off. And then she also says that some people say that you can also use 9 silver pieces, boil them in the tea, and drink them that way as well. Now, this one is from a woman who said that when she went to go visit her parents, she stopped by to see a conjurer because her brother was sick. That's when the conjurer told her that all she needed to do was go to the parents' house, look in the corner, and she would find exactly what was left. So when she got there, she saw, what was it? A mixture of his hair and blue stone wrapped up in red flannel with some needles running through it. And so she took it back to the conjurer, and that's when he told her that she needed to get some dimes and $1, and this would, and basically give it to the conjurer. And then he took the boy, Jack, into a back room, and she doesn't know what he did, but he did take the conjure off. Now, if you want to make sure everybody that passes through your door has good intentions and are friendly, according to Uncle Henry, all you needed to do was take a mixture of devil's snuff and cotton stalk roots chipped up together and put them in a little bag and hide them under the front steps or hide them near your front door. And this would make sure that everyone who came into your home was friendly and had positive intentions, and weed out those with negative intentions. And I feel like this would be a good way to get door-to-door salesmen away from you. Now, Uncle Henry had a lot of stories about life on the plantation, and he said that there was once a woman who died, and the family buried her right next to the doorsteps of where they were living. And so she kept coming back. It's like her spirit couldn't rest. So what did they do? They sent in a conjurer who then came and did some magic or did some work, and it finally got her spirit to rest where she wasn't coming back anymore. In the same breath, he also says the same conjurer would get up every morning and go around the plantation and place a conjure on it. For what reason? Nobody knows, but this conjurer didn't seem to have to work, and there was never really any injuries or anything on the plantation, so that could be one of the reasons why. But another woman who did workings on the plantation as well would come and counter it by taking a pepper box out of the kitchen, where she shook its contents over her shoulder and said, "Anything hot like this will drive the spell away. And the reason I shakes it like that is one day I was in the yard and something catch me. It held fast to my foot, and when I started to shake all over," and she started to shake all over, since she's been shaking ever since. A white woman came and gave her some white soap every morning for her to wash with, and she put it in her clothes. So she decided to get the pepper box and reverse whatever that first conjurer had been doing. Now, I can keep going with these. There's actually a ton of stories, and they are very interesting. So next up we have a story about Lizzie, who was the interviewee's sister, who said that she had been fixed. So she took to an old conjurer to get the spell off, and it was like this. Sister Lizzie had a pretty peach tree, and one limb spread out over the walk. Just as soon as she would walk under this limb, she would get sick all the time. Funny part about it was that while she was at other folks' house, she would feel perfectly fine, but by the time she passed under that limb near her home, she would start to feel bad. So one day she sent for a conjurer. He looked under her house and sure enough found what was stuck in the sill. It looked like a bundle of rags, red flannel, all stuck up with needles and everything that you could imagine. The old conjurer told her that the tree had been dressed for her and that it would be best to cut the tree down. It was really jacked up, and I'm sorry. People always messing with trees. Either way, she says that it was a pretty tree, and she sure did cut it down, but she did, and she'd hate to cut it down, but she did like he told her to. Yes, child, I don't know whether I've ever been conjured or not, but sometimes my head hurts, and I do wonder. Think we'd all wonder if that were the case, but that sucks that you had to cut the tree down, because I mean, it sounded like it could have been a pretty tree, right? For some reason I can't find my blush, so I'm gonna skip that step. So this next one is interesting, and I think a point of contention with a lot of people. Hold on a minute. All right, so like I said, this one's a point of contention with a lot of people, but it goes on to say, the interviewee says that she knew of a woman who had lodestone that she used to work all the time. And she would take it and work on wives so that they would separate from their husbands and never get back together again. She also admitted to unaliving a lot of folks by the use of conjure and magic via these lodestones. But towards the end of the woman's life and near her death, she started to feel guilty and would often tell the interviewee that she had no idea if she could ever if she could ever get forgiveness, because she had sold herself to the devil for nearly 20 years. So that is an interesting story there. Real jacked up, but does seem like she kind of regretted it towards the end. All right, so I guess that's the end of my conjuring story time for the day. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Bye.